Well, as John Magufuli is about to be laid to rest, the country appointed its first female president, Miss Samia Suluhu Hassan. She was the former vice president and is currently the only female head of state on the continent, but there have been others before her to hold the highest office in the land. Now, in a purely ceremonial role, Ethiopia does at the moment have a female president, Miss Sahel Zwede. Now, former President Catherine Samba Panza also served as Central African Republic's interim president between 2014 and 16. We also had Joyce Banda. She became Malawi's fourth president in 2012 until 2014 after the death of President Mutharika. Mauritius had Miss Fakim as their president between 2015 and 2018. But it was Liberia who, when they had their first female president, Miss Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, also became the first African country to be led by a woman. And you know what? I am so privileged to say that President Sirleaf joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us here on Focus on Africa, speaking to us from Monrovia in Liberia. And Madam President, I'd just like your reaction first to Tanzania's news that they have had their first woman leader.
I am so delighted. Of course, let me say first that we extend condolences to her, to the Magufuli family and the people of Tanzania as they go through the proceedings of putting their leader to rest. But coming to Samia, how exciting, how wonderful. She comes into a position elevated from a position in which she served at a level that not quite as high, but very high as the vice president. And so all the women of Africa, and I dare say beyond, are very pleased to see that Africa has again another woman president, as few as they are.
Indeed, indeed. Actually, I'm going to take you back to the UN General Assembly because in 2017, you probably remember this, you were speaking and you said that the next generation must belong to women. How are we doing so far on the continent?
We're doing not so well in terms of expectations. We had hoped by now, with all the effort that's been made and the progress that's been achieved, that would have had more breakthroughs. We also know there's been some of a playback against women in the last couple of years, when we've seen some retrogression in the progress, and the pace of acceleration had really slowed down. And we think that's just a pushback on the part of those who have assumed that women were moving quite too fast in trying to claim leadership.
So as President Samia starts her term as leader of Tanzania, and you reflect back to your time in office, what sort of advice would you like to pass on? I mean, was it can she expect a lonely journey?
Yes, it can be a lonely journey. There are no colleagues as such that you can sit down with and discuss shared values and plan together and strategize. How can you address those issues, particularly as relate to women and girls, and why you may be fully acceptable into the family of leaders and allowed your space to be able to be active and perform. But you are lonely in that you can't join them in special groupings to discuss things. And after all, you are indeed looked upon by men, even in such open sessions as those, as being someone who really are just, if you just forced your way into their arena, and so you don't get the kind of camaraderie that you would have. So that loneliness is there, but I think women learn to cope with that, and learn to still carry on their business and take their positions and perform and carry out their leadership roles.
Madam President, when we look ahead to the years in front of us, how can we change that to make sure that women are able to get to the highest office in the land?
You know, the women collectively have been working to adjust the inequities and injustices. I mean, we've formulated narratives that talked about the stereotyping that have put women in secondary roles, the patriarchy that makes men dominant in societies, the lack of access to women, to be able to stop the violence against women. And lots of actions have been taken. There have been some constitutional changes in certain places. There have been laws to address these inequities and injustices. We have seen women break through in terms of women in parliament, women in executive positions, women in non-governmental organizations, women in churches. There's a lot of progress, but we can get what is really needed: men. Women cannot be the only one to carry this burden of recognizing that equality brings progress. Equality means more equity, more economic advancement, contribution by women more valuable. And we've got to change men, and men have got to see this as an agenda to which they must contribute.
Madam President, I just want to get in for one final question. Now, when I was telling our viewers that I will be speaking to you, I referred to you as the Iron Lady, and of course to President Samia as Mama Samia. Now, many people are saying that the narrative and the language that we use around women does not help the progress of women, and the adage of a woman is unable to lead continues. Is that a valid argument?
Absolutely not. And I don't think being told that you have strong, firm positions make you any less woman. Women have certain qualities of empathy that does not take away from their courage, does not in any way challenge their knowledge, their determination. And so, no, I believe there was a time in my second term when maybe I mellowed a bit, and I was then called my Ellen. Well, that simply meant that I was able to reach out with more concern about humankind, addressing the needs of women. But that makes us stronger. But that does not take away anyway from our leadership qualities and our performance in office as leaders.
On that point, perfect place to end. Madam President, Ellen John Sirleaf, thank you so much for joining us here on Focus on Africa.
Thank you.